The Anyone But Cam Fantasy Football Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Anyone But Cam Fantasy Football Podcast. I am one of your hosts, one of your commissioners. My name is Frankie. So next to me is Cam. Cam, how's it going?
Stressful.
Your seat's there. It's looking a little warm. Think you're on the hot seat this week?
I mean, the hot seat generally means that, I'm about to get fired. So I definitely don't think that.
I just think maybe it's means a state of unease.
Oh, most definitely. Warm butts.
Warm butts
flying around.
What's the P? Well, I guess we can get to that. What the P meter? What did they say on ATM?
Oh, yeah. P scale.
P scale. Yeah, we'll get to the P scale eventually.
Uh-huh.
But until we get to there, start off talking about this is the championship week episode.
Oh boy, many championships going on.
One important game and a couple others.
Take that how you want.
So yeah, we will start off talking about waivers, winners and losers of last week. To talk about the matchups for this week, or at least the ones that somewhat matter and actually do matter. And then that's gonna be about it.
Yep. Because, mail is a dying medium.
Yeah, that is true. It's even Christmas time. The time for no one sends a Christmas card.
Maybe they sent us mail, but it just got lost.
Should we send out a Christmas card to the league?
I will make sure to do that after I possibly win this week.
I think me and Justin should, as commissioners, do a cute Christmas card together. Send it out for the league.
Good luck getting Justin to do anything related to fantasy.
True. Alrighty. Let's talk about the waivers this week.
Waivers.
Cam, we have a note here, and you said more people died.
Yes, because last week the top note that I had was many people died.
Uh-huh.
And that trend, if these trends continue, then we won't have overpopulation. But, mainly, of people that mattered, Chris Godwin and Dalvin Cook. So a lot of the waivers was just focused around trying to patch those holes in our hearts.
Yeah. You said Terry to Devin for $26. Devin is playing for third place. I guess it's still somewhat relevant to him. Good they put down some money for us. A hot contestant item this week. And then, Greg threw down some money for... pays $15. What did we criticize him about a week or two ago for not buying?
$0 on AJ Brown, despite having almost 100.
Yeah, and he spent 15 on the Chargers defense.
He could have spent 70 on Terry McLaurin and could have got him, Greg.
That's true.
It's not like you're actually playing for money this week, dude. Come on.
You continue your love affair with Jamal Williams.
Yeah.
Levi picks up a player I've never heard of before. You pick up Peyton Barber and then back to Danny Amendola. Yeah, a lot of some scrambling here.
I mean, Levi picking up two trash wide receivers, hoping to fix for Godwin. Me picking up two trash running backs. Championship caliber team.
I would not call Jamal Williams a trash running back. He's been a good running back for what you can expect him to be this season.
Yeah, it's been going down recently, sadly.
That's true. Alrighty, that was it for the waivers, just about. Yeah, let's get right into the winners and losers of last week. I have the winners this week, and first off, I'll have you, Cam, on your side of the bracket here. You versus Devin. You won this week. I believe you're the highest scorer second highest scorer of the week, right? Tyler was number one. Yeah. And Devin was the lowest scorer of the week. Although 94 points, almost 95 points is the second highest lowest score of the season.
Whoa, that's crazy.
This was actually the highest scoring average week since week 5 at the average score of 122.58 points or so rounded, which makes it the third highest scoring week of the season. I think that's right. Yeah. Second or fourth highest, but still.
Buys are done, and it seemed like a pretty high scoring week overall, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Cam, when you were on the ball this week or last week, pretty much everyone did their job for you, which is what you like to see. Besides for Dalvin Cook, rest in peace.
Pour one out.
And then, I guess what I said to start off just kind of really lays out what happened. Everyone did their job. Drew Brees went above and beyond, as we all saw in prime time. Tyreek Hill, AJ Brown, 21 points plus. George Kittle, 17 targets.
Over half of Jimmy G's targets.
17. Okay. You got 8 points for Christian Kirk. You didn't even score a touchdown.
Wild.
What are you going to complain about there? Bucs defense scored you 18 points, which you then promptly dropped.
Because I don't care about the Bucs defense. I care about the defense playing against David Blau.
It's not a bad strategy.
Nope.
My note here is that over the past 4 weeks, the Bucksy has averaged 16.5 points per
Holy
week.
man.
One of those weeks was a 4-point week, though, which brought that down quite a bit. But over the past 4 weeks, they have been averaging 16.5 points.
Way to go, Bucks.
So, yeah. And they have Houston this week, I think, right?
Yeah.
Mike Williams, touchdown regression. Might just be hitting at the right time. I think we talked about it a little bit. But I believe he's 2 for 2 in the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
Maybe we'll continue that this week against Oakland.
Let's hope.
Has a shot. See if his quarterback can throw the football. And that's about all I had for you. You know, it was a great week overall. What can you say about it?
I mean, nothing to complain about besides injuries. And what can you do?
Yeah.
Especially when your opponent is just Devin, who is limping along to a 4th place finish.
Yeah.
Way to go, man. Yeah, so he had the Eagles stack, and the Eagles scored 37 points this week. But that was all thanks to Miles Sanders, who scored a lot of fantasy points. 32. So yeah, it's kind of tough when you're missing that part of the stack of your team.
Yeah.
And then Devin's running backs, main 2, got 5.9 and 1.9 between Singletary and Max. That's rough. So, Frankie, Todd Gurley got 38 yards. But he got 20 fantasy points. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's kind of insane.
Yeah.
Touchdown through the air too. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
But it wasn't enough to do anything for Devin because we've said this a couple times about him. It's kind of rough because he has good wide receivers with bad quarterbacks, and that came back to bite him with Cortland Sutton only catching 4 of his 10 targets and Kenny Golladay 3 of his 7.
Yeah.
So it was rough.
Especially rough when you have that bad situation. Also, Aguilar's out. Alshon Jeffrey's out, and Aguilar, I guess too. But
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty, was that it for Devin
Yeah.
here?
That's
Okay,
really
great.
all I need.
Yeah, it's it should have been me, Cam, to lose to you. It should have been me.
I mean, it makes me feel vindicated to be the 2nd highest scoring team in playoffs week 1 and 1st highest scoring team in playoffs week 2.
Yeah.
So I earned my bye.
Alrighty. Next matchup here, we have on the other side of the brackets, the winner Levi, who played Justin this last week. Yeah, I mean, like, it was a really good week for Levi too. Good, pretty dang good as well. His RB sucked, but his wide receivers carried, which is a kind of what you expect to see from a Levi team.
Yeah.
Generally speaking. But his guys, obviously Derrick Henry's been insane this season. But, Godwin and Michael Thomas both had great games. Other pass catchers as well, like Travis Kelce and Golden Tate was fine as well. All did really well for him. Rest in peace, Chris Godwin. That's a pretty dang big loss right there.
Yeah.
So Rip the God. I just mentioned Kelce is nuts. We just mentioned 17 targets for Mr. Kill. 13 from Travis Kelce. Ain't half bad either.
Not at all.
Which is kind of insane. Mostert came back to earth this week, but he's still probably a good play this week, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But coming back to earth is still putting up 9 points in your flex. Isn't anything to scoff at. And then in light of Godwin's injury, the 2 touchdown grabs from Mr. Jamison Crowder is an attention grabber on his bench for Levi here. That's a big deal, especially because he doesn't have a whole lot of other options besides the guys that he decided to pick up this week on waivers.
Against Baltimore, too.
Yeah. So what can you say? It was another solid week for Levi. A bit of a down week for Deshaun Watson. But, 16 points isn't going to kill you.
Yeah, I mean, it all worked out in the end for him.
Yeah.
Even though he was guaranteeing a loss come, as soon as Rashad Perriman, scored a touchdown. Because Justin's team looked electric by the end of the 10 a.m. games. Christian McCaffrey getting in 33. Mark Ingram already got 23 points on Thursday night. And then Rashad Perriman dropping 32 points. That's pretty good. Too bad that was 90 of Justin's 117 points between those 3 players.
Man.
Because it did not work out after that. Yeah, so Justin has 4 kickers on his team. And I don't know why you do that, especially when it just makes start sits even harder, and then you end up starting the wrong ones anyway. Way to go. And then he also benched Anthony Miller, who has been white hot recently. which didn't end up working out. But Cole Beasley was good recently, so I kind of get it, but I also don't get it because it's against Pittsburgh.
It was interesting. Last week we had a discussion. As I brought up the question, it's like, why would you start Brashard Perriman over Anthony Miller? And I felt real dumb about that when I heard about Brashard Perriman. But then Anthony Miller put up 22.5 points.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, okay.
It worked out all right because he got 11 targets compared to Brashad's 5.
Yeah.
The process. But what really hurts Justin is starting that Rams defense.
Oh my gosh.
Dropping a -9 on him. Lord, like, why you start a defense against Dallas? They're one of the most efficient offenses. I don't get it.
Yeah. Remember when him and Logan made that trade? Like, way early in the season? I was like, the first trade of the season was the Rams defense, I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
Worth it.
Circles, you know what I mean? Oops.
Yeah. If he started the New Orleans Saints defense, he got 6 points. He would have won.
He would have had 15 more points.
So he
Yeah, he would have won. Oh my god, that's terrible.
heart-wrenching.
Yeah, how do you start the Rams against Dallas as opposed to the Saints against Indianapolis?
Or, string
Or
someone.
anyone else? Yeah, that's... I feel like... I don't know, maybe just... We have to hear from the man himself. I don't know.
Yeah, but we won't because he's a loser. And that's it for winners and losers.
Alrighty. Well, with that being said, let's delay no longer, Cam.
Oh boy.
We're not burying the lead. We're going straight into it. We're not saving the matchup of the week for last. For some of you, maybe we are. But we're starting off hot, and we're starting off here with the preview of the championship match.
Do we have to?
Yes, we do.
God.
And we are starting here. We're gonna go back and forth a bit here, but I'm gonna start off talking about Levi's team.
Okay.
And as we did last week, we're gonna kind of go just position by position, and we're gonna write down the line here. Deshaun Watson in Tampa Bay, one of the worst pass defenses in the league, and yeah, 15, like I said, 16 points last week. The prior 2 games to that, he did 28 against New England and 28 against Denver. Against Tampa Bay, should be a darn good game for Mr. Deshaun Watson. Like, that's what I'm expecting here.
Yeah. He's been really hot and cold recently, but if there's a game to be hot against, it's against Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Moving on to his running backs here. Derrick Henry, who's been slowed a little bit recently, especially last week. People have been talking about he's been dealing with I believe it's a hamstring or quad injury, hamstring. Over the past month, today or yesterday, so we were recording this on Friday. As of Thursday, he is off the injury report. He doesn't have any designation going into the game for the first time in over a month. So you like to go for Levi. Not a great matchup against New Orleans, but not an impossible matchup either by any means. Eckler was slowed last week and scored less than 11 points earlier in the season, I believe, or maybe less than 11.5 points, something like that. Or just, less than 12 points last week, earlier this season against Oakland. He only did that on, 6 carries. Yeah, that's rough. That was Melvin Gordon coming back week, right?
No, it's a little before that.
Was it? Okay.
He came back kind of early in the season.
Maybe. Okay. I don't remember exactly then when. But, yeah. We'll be hoping for something a little bit better than about 11 or 12 points for Austin Eckler, I'm thinking, if I'm Levi. Let's go into his receivers then. Next, we just mentioned about Crowder, who now has in a starting position here, is a riskier start against Pittsburgh, but definitely not a bad start. And he got 2 touchdowns last week, so just go
if
with
there's
the hot
one
hands.
thing that is sticky week to week, it's touchdowns.
Absolutely.
We all know that.
Especially for wide receiver options who don't have like a clearly defined role in their offense.
A team that might not even score a touchdown this week.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. So it's a risky start, but like, what other options does he have?
Yeah.
It's like Amendola, this other guy, Mr. Steven Sims Jr., the power returner for the team in Washington, or Sammy Watkins.
The glory play. He was amazing week 1. He can do it week 16.
That would be something else.
Jesus Christ.
Like I mentioned earlier, I like the Mostert start this week. Came back to earth a little bit last week, but he seems to have the stranglehold on the backfield currently for San Francisco against a not completely formidable line with against the LA Rams there. Golden Tate should be a good start with Mr. Daniel Jones coming back this week. Should be better for him. I didn't even mention Kelsey because what do you have to mention, or Thomas, because like they're good, they're fine, good matchups. They're gonna do what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
They always have a chance to blow up, and it's either they blow up or they get like 15 points minimum. Like, I don't know what you can do. Chris Boswell for the Steelers, kicker against the Jets. Steelers offense has been exceptionally terrible the last 4 weeks. And so even to the plus matchup, maybe it will be for Chris Boswell. You can get him into field goal position. Steelers defense has a really good opportunity to get a lot of turnovers this week. They've been insane with turnovers this season, and they're going against Sam Darnold, who really likes throwing interceptions and fumbling even more than that.
But Le'Veon Bell revenge game. 300 yards, 6 touchdowns.
I literally didn't even think about that until just now. Yeah, so that's about all I have for Levi's team. Do you have anything else to add for Levi's team?
Yeah, you mentioned how Henry's off the injury report, which is scary, but the games he's bad in are the games that Tennessee is losing and has to actually pass the ball a lot. And hopefully New Orleans can get a lead, because that would be very nice for A.J. Brown and bad for Derrick Henry.
Right.
Or
it'd be good for Michael Thomas, though.
I mean, but once they get the lead, Kamara.
There's
too much influence between our teams. I hate it. But we'll get to that later. But picking up Mostert right before playoffs was super clutch for Levi, because having a flex and wide receiver 2 consisting of Crowder, Tate, and Mostert is not something you'd expect from a championship team, but it's just what he has to deal with once you lost Godwin.
Right.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Let's move on here then to your team. Cam, we talked about it last week. We're going to talk about it again this week. Jameis Winston versus Drew Brees starts. Jameis Winston in a plus matchup, supposedly, against Houston. Questionable for Saturday, which is tomorrow. He was, we'll have to see. In a week where we weren't sure about his status last week, he threw for 4 touchdowns. Went for 33 points about there. So there's that. Or you can go with all reliable Drew Brees, who's been, a good to very good, I guess he's had some a little bit lower weeks, but he's been consistent enough ever since his return from injury, and had some really good blow-up games like 2 weeks ago in San Francisco. Should be a fine enough matchup against Tennessee, you would think.
They're kind of injured in the secondary.
Yeah, so we'll have to see about that a little bit there. Well, I guess we can go into your decision-making process if you'd like to.
I have no idea. Right now my roster is locked, so I can't change anything. But, Jameis is supposed to be better, but all his wide receivers are dead, and so he could just absolutely die. But, if he does super bad, but Deshaun Watson, because he has Deshaun Watson, so if Deshaun Watson puts a lot of points, that means Jameis probably puts up a lot of points. But then also, if I start Breeze, that means if Thomas is really good, Breeze is really good. I hate it. I hate it so much.
The true crime is that, I picked up Devlin Hodges, so you can't play Duck this week.
You picked up Devlin Hodges?
Yeah, what else would I do? So you can't play him this week. It's really, I think I ruined your championship hopes with that one.
Yeah, it's such a hard problem having 2 top 6 quarterbacks.
Hey, my issue is I only have 1 top 1 quarterback, so who isn't good enough to completely carry my entire team.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to your team here. Tyreek Hill has been low-key touchdown dependent this season, especially against better defenses. You look at his games against New England, things like that. He has been touchdown dependent to have those really good weeks. Otherwise, he's right around a 10-point or less kind of guy. So you look to see that this week. When you see this week, it's Sunday Night Football against Chicago. Not nearly as formidable as they were last season, as we are all aware, but still not a plus matchup by any means. Speaking of plus matchups, A.J. Brown versus New Orleans should be one, again, with that that New Orleans game. I'd be looking to continue the hot streak with A.J. Brown, who's scored 31 and 21 points in the past 2 weeks.
Please, God. Don't have Lattimore.
Yeah. once again, rip Dalvin Cook. He seems like he's still he could play. He's doubtful. He's not playing.
He's not gonna play.
So then your next choice for running back is gonna be a combo of Elmats and Mr. Kamara. We'll talk about it in a minute. Or a Peyton Barber, or you're really continuing to go with Jamal Williams. Not great, Bob.
Everyone's jealous of this decision that they have to make.
Yeah. At least you have Alexander Madison, who's also dead. Good thing you handcuffs.
Yeah, it's great.
And good thing you didn't pick up Mike Boone.
Yeah.
God, darn you, Jake. But yeah, that's it's rough. That's
rough.
It's not great. But let's go back. Just go back to the rest of your team here. Kittle is Kittle. No need to say anything else over there. Mike Williams, I just mentioned earlier. Let's hope he continues with his touchdown regression. Hopefully, he's hitting at the right time of the season for you. Jared Cook, a great start versus Tennessee. Michael Badgley versus Oakland. Fuck it, I know. 23 points over the past 3 weeks. That's fine.
There are absolutely no good quarterbacks.
Kickers
on the waiver wire.
Yeah. Broncos defense versus Detroit. That's a great pickup, though, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
About playing against David Blau. You've officially lost your membership as part of the Blauhards.
Oh, I never wanted it. Stafford or bust.
That's not even we joked about it weeks ago. I asked if you got the newsletter, and you're like, "Bro, I've had the newsletter for like forever." How soon we forget.
David Blau did not invent football.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I think it's about like it's all your starters. So, if you have any other notes in your team, speak now or forever hold your peace.
I like how you didn't even mention that I don't have Cup in my starting lineup.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's like I don't think it's a good start. So I didn't.
Yeah, no, I agree. But rankings say he should be like starting.
Well, Fantasy Pros every week has put OBJ as a wide receiver 1. So like, and still they still do it.
Okay. Christian Kirk might not actually play this week. It's a game time decision, so that makes it feel better about starting Jared Cook.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have so many Saints. I hate it. It's the worst.
Yeah, it's not looking good for you.
Do I just start all of my Saints and just hope Michael Thomas doesn't do anything? Because that's the one thing that will never ever happen.
Yeah. Is
Michael Thomas not getting 15 catches in
the
game. Yeah, no. You'd think I'd be excited because I'm in the championship game, but I know it's just going to be the exact same thing every other time. It's the worst.
If we're going to pick a team here,
I'm going to win.
If we're putting money on it,
I'm going to win.
I don't think you're like, obviously you have a hole at running back.
Yeah.
An absolute gaping hole. And Kamara has not been great.
No.
Like this whole season.
Yep.
But it's not like Tyreek Hill can't overcome his matchup. It's not like E.T. Brown can't stay hot. It's not like Jared Cook and Mike Williams can't combine for a couple touchdowns as well. And George Kittle can't go off as well. And that Jameis or Drew Brees can't have another 30-point performance. Those are all very much in their own possibility. And it's like, yeah, I think it's a little bit closer than we might think it is just from how we've discussed everything so far. It seems to be doom and gloom for you.
I agree.
But also, if I were to put a significant amount of money on it, I think you have to go with the team that's been the best team all season and looks to be the best team this week, and that's got to be Levi.
The biggest hope I have is just that if my players do good, it will generally be because Levi's players don't do as good. Like, if Eckler doesn't do as good, it's probably because Mike Williams got a touchdown. If Henry doesn't do as good, it's probably because the Saints are doing good.
Yeah, that's true.
If Michael Thomas doesn't do as good, it's probably because Kamara or Cook caught some touchdowns. If Kelsey doesn't do as good, it's probably because Tyreek Hill goes off. The problem is, all the people that I just mentioned are the main focus of their offense, pretty much. So they're more likely to do good than my auxiliary parts.
Right.
But there's hope for it, at the very least.
Yeah.
And that's what rebellions are built on.
I was going to say fantasy championships are built on hope. Okay. So that was it for our championship match preview. We have a couple other matches to get through here. The third place match which is going to be Justin versus Devin. And Cam, I'm going to let you take the lead on this matchup.
Okay, because you don't care about losers. I get it. Yeah, so Justin, I mentioned last week about how he had 3 people that did really good and everyone else sucked, and that he made bad start sits.
Yeah.
And he seems to have learned nothing from that. Still got Cole Beasley in that wide receiver 1 spot
Yeah.
against New England instead of Anthony Miller against Kansas City.
Yeah.
Not the move. Starting the Rams defense against San Francisco, whose offense has been very good recently, and San Francisco has generally put up points on the Rams. Not the move. Yeah, and I mean, like, he's got Landry versus Baltimore, which probably isn't going to go well for him. Goff versus at San Francisco. Jesus Christ, dude. So, is Justin going to win? Because his team is pretty much, it's the exact same as last week, where he just needs Chris McCaffrey, Mark Ingram, and Brashad Perriman to go off, and everyone else just be okay, and then he'll hopefully score like 115, 120 points. Yeah, so anything you want to say about Justin's team?
I mean, Zerline is the kicker 10 this season, and he's questionable to play, and he's still in a starting lineup
Against San Francisco on the road.
Bro.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Are you trying to win your $10 back?
You could start
not?
Jake Sanders or Cincinnati, and
Yeah.
you don't do that?
Yeah. That's, yeah.
Oh, he has Dwayne Washington, and Josh Jacobs isn't going to play.
Yeah, that's not a bad start. Man, dude, yeah, I think you kind of said it all when it comes to Justin's team here, especially like the Goff start. It's like, dude, can you imagine starting a quarterback who's only projected for 13 points? Like, that's so bad. That's like exceptionally bad.
Oh, God. Like, I'm pretty sure Justin just doesn't realize that he still has something to play for.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, and Goff has been fine enough recently, but it's not like he's like risen to the occasion. I don't know, like.
How did you do against San Francisco last time?
Oh my God, negative a point.
-1 points at home. Now he's on the road.
That's.
San Francisco's playing for a first-round bye.
It's a different offense. One where he isn't forced to throw as much.
Yeah, I guess. But is that good for your quarterback?
Well, compared to last time, it's good for Goff.
Yeah, that's fair.
Overall, probably not. But
Yeah. Anyways, so Justin's team is bad.
yeah.
And Devin, on the other hand, actually looks pretty good this week. Like Russell Wilson versus Arizona, that's probably pretty solid. Marlon Mack versus the worst run defense in the league of Carolina, that's pretty good.
Marlon Mack isn't even playing football. He's getting less than half the snaps a game. I don't know, man.
That was his first game back, wasn't it?
2 games.
No.
It's 2 games in a row now.
Yeah, but they were down a lot, so they had to be passing backs, and that's what I'm telling myself. Anyways, but it's against Carolina, so you only need half the snaps to get like 20 points. It's fine. Cortland Sutton playing Detroit. Let's go. Kenny Galladay's a rough start, though. And I might actually, if I'm Devin, look to start Terry McLaurin over him. Because you need another good wide receiver with a bad quarterback to start.
Yeah.
So do you, King? Justin Washington was dreadful last week. But maybe he'll do okay this week. Who knows? Because now Chris Godwin's officially out. So it's nothing super great, but it's a lot better than Justin's side. So I picked Devin.
Yeah, I picked down to Todd Gurley against San Francisco. Shouldn't be great either. And he's mentioned Justin Watson. Yeah. Zach Ertz against Dallas could be a fine. Yeah, I like Kenny G. Probably have another down week this week as well.
I would bench him if I was Devin for
Yeah,
Terry.
so I think it's probably the play. But Russell Wilson, Russell Wilson should have a good game, but like a good game for Russell Wilson is like, he had that 41 point performance. He had 2 40-point performances. Like what I was gonna say is no longer valid. I was gonna say he really gets above 30 points, which is true. Especially the 2 times he scored 40. So never mind.
Never mind.
Yeah, I'm picking Devin too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alphas.
Yeah, let's move into Consolation Corner. The recap of last week. Logan beats Lassie to stay in the top part of the Consolation bracket, securing himself into the Consolation Championship match. Greg beats JP, a red hot Greg.
Red hot Greg.
Beats JP and to advance to the Consolation Championship all the way from the depths of the bottom of Consolation. Tyler beats Dylan. Tyler barely squeaking out of that last place game, which at least that's what I was expecting to happen. But oh my God, he pummeled everyone this week in points for. So he earned his spot into that the 9th place match. Yeah. That's I've been
Clutch.
there. I've been there, so I can't say anything. But yeah, and then so yeah, I mean the top bracket here, the matches this week will be Logan versus Greg for the championship. Then that means we're gonna have Tyler versus Lassie for that middle match, and then Dylan versus JP for the last place match. And so I guess we'll start off here with the Constellation Championship.
Yeah, so interesting note here, actually. Logan was the top seed in Constellation going in. Greg was the bottom.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it ends up here. But I think it might not be too bad for an upset. Know what I'm saying?
I don't think Greg winning is an upset at this point.
Yeah, because, I mean, Logan lost Josh Jacobs, which it's possible Logan doesn't know that yet.
Yeah.
But he has Patrick Laird, which is hype. Laird squad. To replace him. But we'll see if he actually does anything. So, Logan has bad matchups all around with Le'Veon Bell versus Pittsburgh, who's probably not actually going to get 300 yards and 6 touchdowns. I was just kidding when I said that. Allen Robinson versus Kansas City is not a good matchup right now.
No.
Tyler Higbee has been really good for Logan recently, but Gerald Everett is coming back now, so that does not look good for him. Will Fuller versus Tampa Bay is good, but you never really know with Will Fuller. And Kenyon Drake probably won't run for 4 touchdowns versus Seattle, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, so nothing there is super great. And Dak Prescott, Philadelphia is a good matchup, but he has had a lot of shoulder issues this week, which could limit him. But Greg's side. Oh boy, Greg's side. Ryan Tannehill has been white hot against New Orleans, who, as I said, I think he'll probably have to throw a good bit this week if New Orleans gets out to a lead.
Yeah.
Chris Carson versus Arizona could be very nice. Nick Chubb ran over them a lot. Miles Sanders has been white hot fire because he had one good week. Yeah, so that's good. Tyler Boyd and Joe Mixon both versus Miami in a game Miami would love to lose with all of their heart. Let's go. But you know what the best part about Greg's team is?
What's that?
It's that Monday night, Greg has Stephon Diggs and Kyle Rudolph. And it's Christmas, Frankie.
Almost.
Prime Rudolph season.
Actual Rudolph season.
So, this will give... Greg will be asking Santa for touchdowns for Christmas. And I think Rudolph will bring those to him.
You're picking Greg to win then? Is that your...
Picking Greg to take home his money back.
I have a couple other notes on the teams here as well. I mean, like when I saw that Josh Jacobs was out, I was like, wow, this is over for Logan. Because it's really rough for him. Not a whole lot. There's just no upside besides for Will Fuller. There's just nothing here I'm excited about whatsoever. I guess there's always a chance for Davante Adams. There's always a chance there, but I don't love it. And he's benching Robbie Anderson, which is like probably smart, but also like, is that your guy? I mean, it's obviously not his guy. I mean, he's shown everything but that it's his guy this entire season. Greg, on the other hand, it's just, I don't know, everything about it is so much better. It's just so much better. I believe Tyler Boyd didn't do a whole lot last week, 4 points, and, following up a couple of weeks prior.
That was against New England, though.
Yeah, and now it's against Miami.
It's like playing a game on, extreme difficulty and now going to...
Right. As he compared to Joe Mixon, who scored about 17 points against New England last week, but he gets an even better matchup this week against Miami. So it's like, well...
Yeah.
There goes the Cincinnati glow up. You mentioned the Vikings stack with Rudolph and Diggs should be really good as well. Miles Sanders, early in the season when he played against the Dallas Cowboys, scored less than 5 points.
But that was when Jordan Howard was healthy.
That's true. And things have definitely changed since then. So it's just something to think about. Chris Carson versus Arizona. Yeah, that's easy money right there. And even then, Greg has players on his bench I wouldn't hate. Like, I don't hate Matt Ryan this week as a starter, too, or Kareem Hunt to throw in there. So it's like he's got options. I think Greg's pretty much the easy favorite at this point. He's home picking to win.
So Logan will be clutching to his pearls to get his coveted Constellation Championship. and Old Greg 25, who has not changed his team name from Team 9.
Uh-huh.
He's going to pull it off.
That's pretty indicative of how Greg prefers to consume and enjoy fantasy, which is as minimally as possible.
Like, is Logan going to change his lineup? I guess, is he not doing it because he has DJ Chark on IR and he just refuses to drop Kaimi Fairbairn? Because that would be wild.
I mean, you could just
Drop Josh Jacobs.
or you could just like drop Shady day of
Yeah, or Josh Jacobs.
or Josh Jacobs. Oh yeah, obviously you drop.
We're not keepers
You
anymore.
drop him. He's like no. Yeah, that's actually the answer.
Yeah. Or put him in your IR. I don't care.
Yeah, that works too. Yeah. Okay, that was it for the Constellation Championship, and we have one last game to talk about, and it is the last place game, the coveted last place game, where Dylan is going for another last place title this week. It seems.
So, same with JP.
Same with JP. So
It is possible if Levi wins, Logan wins, and no matter what happens in the last place game, we get repeat for both first of Constellation and last of Constellation.
Yeah. Fun thing about this week is that Dylan doesn't even pop up on. You have to like scroll down to his name to look at his team.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying.
Which is great. But I guess you can start off with some of the notes you had on this last night's matchup.
Yeah, so Dylan currently has no kicker on his roster.
It's true.
We're going into Saturday, tomorrow. He's had plenty of chances to get one. I'm sure he has someone that he could have dropped. I could easily drop Olabisi Johnson. Lord Jesus, man. Yeah. So get a kicker, dude. What are you doing?
That's
Yeah, anyways, he has really good matchups for DeAndre Hopkins and Michael Gallup against Tampa Bay and Philadelphia, respectively. Hopefully Dak isn't, super limited, because that would be bad. However, his running backs have bad matchups against the Jets and against Tampa Bay for Connor and Carlos Hyde.
yeah.
Yeah, so there's not a lot really you want going on here. But it's not bad starting Aaron Rodgers on the road against Minnesota when Aaron Rodgers is not good. Yeah.
I mean, his receiving core is good, right? And then
Yeah.
James Conner should be fine. So it's like, well, I don't hate it. And Darren Waller. But no kicker, so it's no chance, right?
Yeah, I mean, it just shows that he doesn't care when, dude, you're trying not to die here.
Yeah.
But someone that also is trying not to die is JP. JP's in a bad spot. Mahomes versus Chicago is not great. James White versus Buffalo and Royce Freeman versus Detroit are both running backs that might not get a lot of usage, but have fine matchups. Keenan Allen versus Oakland is fine. Tyler Lockett versus Arizona is fine. Okay, this is better than I thought it was.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Hunter Henry versus Oakland. Hunter Henry hasn't been great recently, but hopefully versus Oakland it's alright.
Less than a point last week? Oh my god.
And only got 10 the week before that because he got a touchdown.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah. But then he's also starting Deebo Samuel and DK Metcalf, which I guess is actually fine. You know what? Sorry, JP. I shouldn't have said anything bad about you because your team is mediocre.
I mean, it's definitely a constellation team, but it's not the worst one I've seen.
Yeah. So, who will lose the league? The answer is obvious. Dylan will build a beautiful winning sandwich on losing consolation bread. While by losing consolation, winning the league, and losing consolation the year after.
Yeah. It's going to be something. I think you have to pick Dylan to lose this week, unless DeAndre Hopkins just goes off and Michael Gallup just go off. Even though a plus matchup for Royce Freeman probably, like you said, probably means nothing, because he's just so limited in usage. Although he got blown over. I mean,
He had more touches than Philip Lindsay last week.
did he really?
9-7.
No.
Wild.
Oh, he kind of in the air. Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever. Yeah, I want to talk about it. Yeah, I think you kind of said it all. It's looking a lot better on JP's side.
Yeah. So, that's gonna be wild, Dylan. You can't do this to the tryhards, dude.
Yeah. Imagine, you remember when he tried to pump his team up as one of the better teams in the league, and it's talked down to Greg as a member of Rotlack, and talked about we mentioned I had questions what member of Rotlack, and he just named him, Levi, and Justin. Now where are you, Dylan, and where is our King Greg in Constellation Championship?
Our king.
White hot.
White hot Greg. Probably scored more points than Dylan on the season at this point.
Maybe. Let's fact check that. Greg does in fact have more points scored in the season. He's at 1,600, 4.4. Dylan at 1,581.55.
Our King Greg.
That's pretty bad. It's not great. Alright, well there it is.
Yep.
Cam, we did the thing. The last full podcast of the regular season. I don't know what to say.
Absolutely terrified.
17 episodes in. And it all comes down to this, once again.
Why do we watch reruns?
I don't know. Brings us back to our childhood, a place of nostalgia. For you, you're just a masochist, I think.
Yeah. I had any NFL team to pick that I wanted to be a fan of, and I picked the Lions. That's all you need to know about me.
Yeah. With that being said, thank you all for listening to an episode of the Amen Bacam Baseball Podcast. I've been Frankie.
And I am the future person that played in the championship game. We'll see how it goes.
You're also the previous person who's played in the championship game.
Look at me. Look at us.
Look at us. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Not me. Oh, God damn. And we'll catch y'all next week with a recap of the championship matches and the season finale of the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you then.
Good luck, everyone.